It's 5 o'clock. It's about that time. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. And it's great to be in front of the best fans in the NFL, 49er faithful, on a Friday night. Usually I don't, do lives on Friday night. Usually I'm working, but got some time off, and it's great to talk some 49ers football with the best fans in the NFL, baby. But I had to first start this off with an executive for the 49ers. He goes by the name of Parag Marate. He's been with the 49ers for 21 years, and he's known as the salary cap guru or salary cap czar. And he ensures that the 49ers are under, a certain amount of money in the salary cap. And also he allows the Niners to sign as many, of the best players that we possibly can because he controls the money. And Parag has done an excellent job this year again. And, the more players he signs, the way he designs the contracts, the contract language, and all that good stuff. It's boring, but it's very important. It's very vital to to a football team. So shout out Parag Marate, did an excellent job this offseason, signing multiple players. And speaking of the offseason, actually, before the offseason, I want to appreciate you guys first and foremost for writing comments and conversing with me back and forth. I appreciate it. This is the show for the 49ers, so make sure you leave those comments, and I'll be reading them in just a second. But speaking of the offseason, the 49ers, had a lot of things that they needed to accomplish this offseason. Not only was, the albatross contract of D Ford and Weston Richburg were huge issues for the team. D Ford obviously had the injuries, and he was hurt pretty much all of last year. Didn't play during the Super Bowl run. He was solid. He had his moments, but he's been battling injuries ever since Lynch has traded for him. Weston Richburg, that seemed like to be a good signing at the center position. He solidified the offensive line when he was healthy, but unfortunately, he got injured as well. Didn't play all of last year. And those were two big contracts that Parag Marate was able to restructure, and that gave the 49ers more salary cap space. So shout out to D Ford and Weston Richburg for restructuring their contracts. And another issue heading into the offseason was the silverback. It was Trent Williams, the big man, the left tackle. The Niners traded for, Trent last year. Everyone knew that in the offseason and free agency, Trent was going to try to get the biggest contract he could possibly get. This is his last contract. I should say this is his last, biggest contract that he'll sign. So that was an issue going into the offseason. Can the 49ers bring back Trent Williams? I feel like he was, the first option, the biggest player that we had to sign. We had to sign Trent Williams to solidify, the left side of the offensive line. And Parag Marate did that. Also, going into the offseason, we only had one cornerback. We only had one cornerback signed, heading into this offseason, and that was definitely an issue that, John Lynch helped manufacture, re-signing Mosley, re-signing Ferret, re-signing K'Wan Williams. And Lynch did an excellent job with that. All of those guys, except for Mosley, signed a 1-year contract, and I'm eager to see how they'll play going forward. Another issue with the 49ers going into the offseason was we had to solidify the offensive line. There was a revolving door at the center position due to Richburg's, being unable to stay healthy. And Lynch signed Alex Mack. He solidified that. Re-signed Trent, of course. And, that was a major issue. That was part of the reason why Jimmy G got hurt was, the offensive line. Also, another issue, we had to get a backup quarterback for Jimmy G. That's what I'm wearing today. Wearing Jimmy G. We had to get a backup quarterback for Jimmy. We all know why. Fortunately, Jimmy, he can't stay healthy. And, we will get that backup quarterback. We got Rosen. We signed Nate Suffield. We still got Josh Johnson. and then we're going to draft a quarterback in the first round of the draft. So I think we accomplished that as well. John Lynch did. And then, of course, we had the 30-plus free agents heading into the offseason. Those were all, issues heading into the offseason. I feel like the Niners brass did an excellent job of, filling up the needs at certain positions. And looks like Matt says we're that close to being a Super Bowl caliber team. I agree, Matt. Thanks for coming through to the stream. Enjoy conversing with you, enjoying your feedback, man. And I think, I think we're just a few players away. Obviously, I think we'll probably draft a corner. I think we need to get a receiver. We still need. We got Mohamed Sanu, but he didn't show that much when he was with the team last season. Sanu only played 3 games, so we'll see what happens with Sanu. Niners all day. What's good? Thanks for coming through to the stream, man. Appreciate you. 49ers Ultimate Report. What's good? Enjoying your content, man. Keep putting out them videos, man. Thanks for coming through. Looks like Niners All Day says, let's go. Yeah, it looks like John J., 49ers Ultimate Report, agrees with me that, Parag Marate is the free agency MVP for the 49ers. I agree, man. The way he structures the contracts, whether they're either front-loaded, back-loaded, that and then also with restructuring the contracts of D Ford and Weston Richburg, that plays a big part. And that doesn't really get talked about much, because John Lynch doesn't really handle the contract size. There are some GMs who handle the contracts side of players, and then, some just deal with scouting and things like that. But yeah, Parag Marate doing a hell of a job being the salary cap guru for the squad. DC Vlogs, what up? Thanks for coming through to the stream, man. Osby Sports. We got another up-and-coming YouTuber right here, Osby Sports. I think when I first discovered Osby Sports channel, I think he had maybe under 20 subscribers, and now he he surpassed 150 on his way to 200 subscribers. So keep putting out that good content, Osby Sports. Thanks for coming through to watch your boy, Jay, in the Bay. For these Niners Nation. All right, we less than 10 minutes in the video. We already talking about Justin Fields. All right. Thanks, 49 Nation, for coming through. Looks like Mystic Productions says, what's up? Thanks for coming through to the stream, man. Appreciate you. Looks like Niners All Day says, I'm happy we get to see Fields and Lance throw again. Yeah. I heard that Lance is having a second pro day. I believe it's next week, I think. And that's good. The 49ers brass, Shanahan and Lynch, they should be there. They should do their due diligence and, see who would be the best quarterback for the 49ers with that number 3 overall pick. Looks like Mystic Production says, get Justin Fields. All right. That seems to be a recurring theme. Looks like 49ers Nation says, what quarterback do you prefer the 49ers should draft? That's a great question. I feel like the most exciting quarterback is either Lance or Fields. It feels like Mac Jones, he's a solid quarterback. He had a great year in college. He was only a 1-year starter, but he seems more similar to Jimmy G. And if Shanahan and Lynch want to upgrade the quarterback position from Jimmy G, why would you get the closest person to Jimmy G, which would be Mac Jones? So I like Lance and Fields. Fields has done it at a higher level. He played for the Ohio State Buckeyes. He played, on the biggest stage, and he played, pretty well. And then Trey Lance, he played, against lesser competition, but the athletic ability that Lance has is off the charts. And honestly, I won't be mad if we pick Lance or Fields. I would be scratching my head if we picked Mac Jones, but I'm eager to see who is Shanahan's guy, because this is the first draft besides the 2017 draft when we picked CJ Beathard. But this is the first draft where we're actually going to pick a quarterback, in the top 3 of the draft. So I want to see who is Shanahan's guy. And but I won't be mad with either one, Lance or Fields, because I feel like they'll do pretty well in Shanahan's system. I don't see any downside to either quarterback really, because you got talent on both sides of the ball. You got skilled guys. You know, you got Mostert. You got the best tight end in the NFL. You got Debo. You got Show. And either quarterback will be successful in the system. That's what I feel. I feel like either quarterback, whether it's Lance or Fields, will be successful in the system. And I feel like that's definitely a great way to go. But speaking of going back to free agency, obviously free agency, we bring in a lot of talent, and that's what Lynch did. But there's also some departures we have to look at as well. And those departures, first you have to start off with, Akello Witherspoon. And Akello Witherspoon, he has his moments with the Niners for sure. I mean, I know sometimes the bad moments stick out more often than the good ones, but Akello Witherspoon during the Super Bowl run, when he was healthy and he was lining up opposite of Sherman, he was playing pretty well. He was holding his own, and then when he got hurt and he came back that season, I don't know if he came back too soon, his body wasn't prepared, or he just lost confidence or something. But Akello Witherspoon never really was the same quarterback or cornerback that he was, and he had some solid games last year toward the end of the year, but I think the writing was pretty much on the wall for Akello Witherspoon, and he signed with the good old Seattle Seahawks, division rival. So, I can't wait to play the Seahawks. And speaking of the Seahawks, Kerry Hyder, who balled out for us last year, had one of the best years of his career. He also, left in free agency, and he signed with the Seattle Seahawks on a 3-year contract. And, I'm glad Kerry and Akello, signed contracts. Their NFL careers continuing. But why the Seahawks, baby? Go to a division rival, like, damn. But I'm looking forward to playing all our division rivals this year. Everyone knows our division is the toughest in the NFL, and I can't wait until we face off when we start the season. But also Kendrick Bourne, Kendrick Bourne always seemed like he had a great spirit. I liked when he was on the Niners. I felt like we could upgrade that position though. But biggest thing about Bourne with me was just his lack of his hands. They weren't consistent enough for me. He would make spectacular catches. He would make, third down catches, but, he just wasn't that consistent for me. But I'm glad he got paid. He went to the New England Patriots. He's going to be receiving balls from Cam Newton. So I'm happy for him. And I don't think we play the Patriots this year. But hopefully, Kendrick Bourne excels with the New England Patriots. Also, let's see. We also have Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman, the first year we signed him, he played with the Atlanta Falcons when Shanahan was the offensive coordinator there. And Coleman, he had some good moments for sure. Last year, unfortunately, kind of like a lot of our players, Coleman, had some injury issues, and now he signed on with the New York Jets with Robert Saleh. And I hope he, continue to have a successful career with the New York Jets. And I'm hoping the best for Robert Saleh. He earned that head coaching job. And, that's Tevin Coleman. Also, C.J. Beathard. C.J. Beathard signed a 1-year deal with the Jags. And, obviously he'll no longer be with the team. And, Beathard was okay. I think he was overdrafted. But, the NFL draft is definitely a crapshoot. Nick Mullins hasn't signed on with anyone yet. He's still a free agent. And, Mullins was okay. There were some injuries around him when he was playing. He didn't have a full complement of weapons, but, you have to do the best you can with what you have. Let's see. Solomon Thomas. Oh, man. So Solomon Thomas was drafted 2017 NFL draft. He was Shanahan and Lynch's first pick. And, boy, that was a swing and miss unfortunately, with Solomon Thomas. He was, overdrafted. And if you look at that 2017 NFL draft, the third overall pick was Solomon Thomas. We traded back into the first round to get Reuben Foster. We got Akello Witherspoon next, C.J. Beathard, Joe Williams. The best player, of course, in that draft class of 2017 was George Kittle, the best tight end in the NFL. And then later in that draft, we also got Trent Taylor, DJ Jones, Colbert, and a linebacker, Temopuna. He played linebacker. So that draft class was not very good for Lynch and Shanahan's first year. But, the draft is a crapshoot. Obviously, the best players are Kittle and, DJ Jones. Go, DJ. That's my DJ. But Solomon Thomas, he was definitely overdrafted with that third overall pick in 2017. But hopefully he has a successful rest of his career. He signed a 1-year deal with the good old Las Vegas Raiders. And Trent Taylor, he's a free agent, and he just hasn't shown much for me. Trent Taylor, he's battled injuries for sure, but he just hasn't shown that he could be a consistent wide receiver. And so that's why he's still a free agent. And of course, the last player, Jet McKinnon. He was the big free agent signing in 2017. I believe he was like the first signing that under Shanahan and Lynch. And Jet McKinnon, unfortunately, he had 2 back-to-back knee injuries, and basically he didn't play the first 2 years he was signed with the Niners. And then he had some solid moments this year, and then he kind of left the team, real salty, and I don't understand why. I'm sure you guys have, seen the interview where he was talking basically bad about the Niners. I don't understand why, but we don't know the inner workings. It could be playing time or whatever, but hopefully Jet McKinnon has a healthy rest of his career and he's successful, but I doubt Jet McKinnon will be back with the team. Looks like Niners all day 55. He says Mac is a good quarterback, just not at 3. Yeah, I agree. Like Mac, he had a great year with Alabama, and I just feel like if we really wanted Mac Jones, we didn't have to trade up to the 3rd overall pick. I don't think we could have stayed at 12 or maybe got, traded with another team that's between like 6 and 10, maybe. But I don't hear about any other teams, drafting or inquiring about Mac Jones. So if we really wanted Mac Jones, we probably could have stayed at 12. 49ers Ultimate Report. He says, I was watching Mac Jones tape, and he makes many NFL backs and lower tier quarterbacks look good. They are way more mobile. Sorry, no Mac Jones. Yeah, I'd be surprised if we got Mac Jones with the 3rd overall pick, but I'm intrigued by. I want to know who is Shanahan's guy. Like who does he feel would be the best fit for his system? Obviously whoever he picks, he will tailor part of his playbook to that quarterback strengths. I mean, that's what the best coaches do. You tailor the game plan, or you tailor, the playbook to whatever the strengths of the team are. And that's very evident with the 49ers during the Super Bowl run. We had, Mostert and Coleman breaking off big runs, and that was our strength, was running the ball. So that's what we did. But let's see. Mystic Production says, do the 49ers draft a running back? Yeah, I think we'll draft a running back probably in the later rounds of the draft, maybe like a day 3. I would say maybe between rounds 4 through 7, I would say we should draft a running back, because there are other needs for the team. Before we traded into that top 3 pick, obviously a lot of people were saying, oh, we'll probably draft a corner with that 12th overall pick when we still had it. And now, obviously, I still feel like we need to draft a corner. So with the second round pick, I would say we probably draft best player available. So hopefully, I would say it's either a corner or edge rusher. And I know we addressed the edge rusher in free agency with Samson E. Buckham, the former LA Rams player. But I wouldn't be surprised if we added some more depth, because D Ford, he's not going to play that many snaps. I would be surprised if he played more than 15 snaps each game this season. At the ends, we would have obviously Armstead, and then you got Bosa coming back as well. Do you really want to rush Bosa? Do you want him to play 100% of snaps to start off the game? I don't think you do. But looks like we'll have Armstead starting on one end, Bosa at the other, and then you'll have Samson Buckham probably rushing the passer on 3rd downs, also with D Ford. And I heard about Ronald Blair, that he was thinking about re-signing with the 49ers, but it looks like his deal was pending physical. So I don't think he's officially been re-signed with the Niners yet, but also he would be a defensive end in the 49ers scheme. So let's see. It's like Niners All Day says, if we pick Lance or Fields, I'll be good, but Fields is my first option. Yeah. I feel the same way. Fields has proven more. He's played on a higher stage. He's played against tougher talent in college, and he's excelled. So, but Lance is exciting too. Fields is exciting. So I won't be mad, honestly, with either one. I just want to see, this is Shanahan's legacy on the line. And what I mean by that is he's got a solid quarterback in Jimmy G. He's solid, but he wants to upgrade. If he gets this pick wrong, it sets the franchise back for years because we got Jimmy G. He's led us to a Super Bowl, and you want to upgrade the position, so you got to get this pick right. And so far, Beathard and Mullins, you could argue, well, were they just not good NFL players, or did Shanahan not develop them? That's very subjective. But I'm eager to see who is Shanahan's guy with that number 3 pick. 49ers Z-Boy. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to your boy, J in the Bay. And looks like Niners All Day says, if heard that we might sign Clowney, what you think about that? Fred, Bosa, Kinlaw, Clowney, Bukem in our backfield looking scary. Yeah, I mean, Clowney, he don't get enough sacks for me. He wants to get paid, like a top 5, top 10 pass rusher, but he don't get the sacks. Niners all day. That's the problem I have with Clowney. He just doesn't get enough sacks. He's good against the run, but it depends on how much salary we're talking about Clowney, because he still is a free agent because he wants to get the most lucrative contract he can get. I don't blame him, but I wouldn't want to play Clowney, probably no more than like, I don't know, $5 million. I mean, because he don't get the numbers. If you a DN, you want to make buco bucks, you got to get the sacks, baby. And we already have allocated funds to Samson Bukem, Armstead. He's getting paid, like a top 10 DN, and we already drafted Kinlaw. So I'd be surprised if we went after Clowney. But thanks for the comment. Looks like 49ers Nation says, I'll be disappointed if we draft Mac Jones because he's similar to Jimmy a little. But I think we should draft Justin Fields because he can run, and that's what would help us out a lot to extend plays. No, I agree. I feel the same way. I feel like Mac Jones is most similar to Jimmy, and if you're Shanahan and you want to upgrade the quarterback position, why would you get a quarterback who's most similar to Jimmy? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. If I have a Toyota Camry and I want to upgrade my car, I want to get something faster, I want to get something sleeker, I'm not going to get a Toyota Avalon. I'm going to get something that's much better, like I don't know, a Ferrari, a Lambo, something like that, like something that's much better, or even like a Nissan GTR, I think that's what it's called, something like that. You want to upgrade it exponentially. You don't want to just get like the next up. To me, it just doesn't make sense. Especially trading all that draft capital to get in the top 3. I think you want to get someone who's significantly has a higher ceiling than Jimmy G. And I feel like you can accomplish that with Lance or Fields. So I'll be happy with either quarterback at number 3. Who we get to replace Bourne? I'm thinking someone in the draft. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. That's a great question, Niners All Day. I was surprised that Shanahan and Lynch didn't go after one of the better wide receivers. I don't know if it was cap space. I don't know, but there was T.Y. Hilton was out there, Willie Snead was out there. I think Keenan Cole was out there. Even Sammy Watkins. Sammy, he's okay, but he just hasn't. He might play better in the system with the Niners because he wouldn't be the number 1 option, but he's battled injuries. And well, yeah, it's looking like someone. I'm sure we'll draft a receiver in the draft. I think we kind of have to, because I know we brought in Mohamed Sanu. What do you really expect from Sanu? He'll be 33 this year. Last year he played 3 games. He was targeted 1 time. He only had 1 catch. So Sanu, what do you really expect from Mohamed Sanu? I don't think much. But at least he knows Shanahan's system. He can help out the young guys. But as far as on-field production, I just don't expect much from Sanu. So, yeah, we could draft a wide receiver, in the 3rd, 4th, maybe even 2nd round, depending upon where the Niners want to – what position of need they want to focus on, because still have needs at corner, edge rusher. Still think we need to get interior offensive lineman. Because Alex Mack, I believe he's 36, signed a 3-year deal, but, only 1 year is really guaranteed. And we could look for a replacement for him once, he leaves the 49ers. So we do have other needs, but yeah, I'm looking forward to see who else we can bring in at receiver, because I don't know about y'all faithful, but are you okay with Debo, show, and Richie James? Let's see, Juwan Jennings, Jalen Hurd. The last 2 guys I mentioned, Hurd and Jennings, they battled injuries last year. They didn't even play it down. Richie James, he had one great game against Green Bay, but I guess where is that other performance? Because he hasn't really got that many plays on offense when Debo and Ayuk have been healthy. So Richie James, he showed what he could do one game, but what separates the great players from the good players is consistency. So I think we should definitely bring in another wide receiver because who knows if Sanu even makes the team? Who knows? Let's see. Niners All Day agrees with 49ers Nation. He'll be good with Fields. Looks like 49ers Nation says Niners All Day, 55, yeah, and Trey Lance would be all right too. Yeah, see, I mean, for me, the only huge difference between Fields and Lance is that Fields has, played at a higher level on a bigger stage. Lance only played like one game last year due to COVID. And, the entire team, I believe they only played one game the entire year last year. And even at Ohio State with Justin Fields, they had a shortened season due to COVID. So, there's just more tape on Fields. Looks like Niners All Day says, yeah, I'd be good with Lance as long as it ain't Mac. I'm good. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement with you, Niners All Day, that taking Mac Jones with the third overall pick definitely would be a reach. But speaking of quarterbacks, I wanted to talk about who the Niners brought in to back up Jimmy G. So it looks like we did re-sign, Josh Rosen. Rosen, I heard a lot of noise that Rosen, should start if we do get rid of Jimmy G, but I just haven't seen that much from Rosen. He was drafted with the Arizona Cardinals. Some say he got a raw deal, but, another regime came in as far as the head coach, and they wanted to go in a different direction. He couldn't get the starting job with the Miami Dolphins. So for his career, Rosen, he's played 20 games. He's had 12 touchdowns, 19 interceptions. He's only completed about 54% of his passes, and he's thrown for about 2,800 yards. So the most worrisome thing about his stats are his interceptions and also his low completion rate. So, but Rosen, if he did play significant time with the Niners, he should play better just because there's more weapons around him, and he'll be under the tutelage of Shanahan. Nate Sudfeld just re-signed him a few days ago. He spent most of his career with the Philadelphia Eagles, but he's only played 4 games. He has completed 67% of his passes, but he's only thrown for 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So, the book is still out on him. Who knows what Sudfeld will bring. Josh Johnson, he's, been a journeyman quarterback. I believe he hasn't played in a game since 2018. So he could just be a camp arm. Who knows? But those are the quarterbacks we signed in free agency to back up Jimmy G. And looks like McCall Kane says, thanks for coming through to the stream, man. I think this is the first time I've seen your name, but thanks for coming through to your boy, Jay in the Bay. He says, Mac is a good quarterback. He's just too similar to Jimmy. Exactly. Yeah, I feel the same way, McCall. I appreciate your comment, but yeah, he's just too similar to Jimmy. It just doesn't make sense, I think. But who knows what Shanahan decides to do. Niners All Day says, what do you think about Richard Sherman saying that the Niners should take Fields and it should be a no-brainer for them? Yeah, I mean, I agree with Sherman. And also, interesting about Sherman, I wonder where he'll end up. He's still a free agent, and I'm curious to see where Richard Sherman will end up. Yeah, I think Fields, I mean, you could argue that Fields should be taken at number 2 over Zach Wilson. I mean, I don't see I think Zach Wilson has started more games than Fields, but you could argue that Fields could be better than Wilson. Like, we'll never really know. Obviously next year we'll know in the next few years. But a lot of times it's all about the situation you get drafted in, But if you're a young quarterback, wouldn't you want to get drafted with the Niners, with the tutelage under Kyle Shanahan and also the skill positions on both sides of the ball? You're in a better position to win right away than a rebuilding team like Jacksonville, than the New York Jets. They're rebuilding as well. So I agree with Sherman. Niners should take Fields. 49ers Ultimate Report. Justin Fields going to Kyle Shanahan quarterback camp makes Field the biggest odds to be a Niners. Kyle likes players and coaches he has familiarity with. Yeah, I agree. Fields was at Shanahan's quarterback camp. He already knows Fields. He knows his strengths. He knows his weaknesses. So Fields could be the guy. Let's see. Niners All Day. True. And on the 49ers website for little kids, 49ers quarterback training Justin Fields is on the cover page. Not sure if it means anything, but just saying. Yeah. It means that, Shanahan knows Fields. He already has a feel for him. He already knows what he does, best. And, he's known him for years. So that would be intriguing, for Fields to be drafted by the Niners. Big BZ TV, what's good? Thanks for coming through to the stream. Fields for sure, bro. Yeah. I think that's that's been a reoccurring theme, that Fields is definitely the guy the Niners should draft. Looks like Sports Talk with Big Ben. What's good? He says, I agree with you on that. Mac and Jimmy are pretty much the same player. Yeah, I agree. If we stood pat at 12 and Mac was the best quarterback available, then maybe I could see that. But yeah, I just feel like, they're very similar. And, Kyle Shanahan, I don't know if he wants a mobile quarterback per se. I think Shanahan wants a quarterback who, sees the game how Shanahan sees it from the sideline. So he wants the quarterback to be able to make reads in the pocket, make good decisions, don't turn the ball over. And if they have to escape the pocket, maneuver to the left or right, they can do that. But I don't think he necessarily wants a quarterback that's just going to take off running like the the first chance they get. I don't think he necessarily wants that. He wants the quarterback to be able to make reads in the pocket. But that's the good thing about Fields, I feel, is, he can make reads from the pocket. He can escape the pocket if he needs to with his athleticism. And with Lance, I feel like Lance could do the same thing. On the highlights that I saw with Lance, he did tuck it down and run more often, but that was because he was just the fastest guy on the field every time he stepped on the field. And in NFL, it's not going to be like that. Those guys can run just as fast, if not faster than you. So, but I'm eager to see who Shanahan got. Niners All Day says, I like Shi Smith or Jonathan Adams Jr. or TJ Vashar to replace Bourne. Yeah, we definitely will need to get a replacement for Bourne, and I would be surprised if the 49ers didn't select a wide receiver in this year's draft. I'd be surprised if they didn't. Looks like Niners All Day says, do you think if we get Fields, we get Sherman back? I doubt it. I think, with Sherman getting hurt last year, definitely didn't, help his chances to get re-signed. I think if Sherman took a, like a veteran minimum contract, which he probably wouldn't take, if he took a vet minimum, maybe like a veteran minimum plus incentives, so like with the amount of games he plays and things like that, maybe, but seems like he wants to try to get the most lucrative contract he can get because this is his last, lucrative contract that he'll probably be able to get. So, but great question, Niners All Day. So it looks like, the running backs, obviously our running backs last year were hampered with multiple injuries throughout the year. Mostert was hurt, Coleman was hurt, Hasty got hurt, Jefferson Jr. got hurt, everyone got hurt. So, we re-signed, Jeff Wilson Jr. To a one-year contract. And, he's only 25 years old. I feel like this is a great re-signing. He played 12 games last year, had 126 carries, 600 rushing yards, and he really provided a spark to the 49ers offense, especially when Mostert wasn't there. And, he can also catch the ball out the backfield as well. He had 13 catches, 133 yards, and he scored, on 3 receiving touchdowns. So I think that was a good re-signing to bring him back and pair him up with Mostert. Kyle Juszczyk, we had to bring Juszczyk back. This signing, definitely an A+ signing. He's 29 years old. He's the best fullback in the NFL. He can do it all: run block, pass block, catch the ball out the backfield. He can run the ball if you need him to. So I was glad to see that we got Kyle Juszczyk back. He played in all 16 games last year. He had 19 catches, 202 yards, 17 carries, 64 yards, 2 touchdowns. And, he signed a 5-year deal worth about $27 million. And, I'm eager to see him continue to produce in Kyle Shanahan's system. So that's with the running backs. Looks like 49ers Ultimate Report says a true pocket quarterback plays in the pocket. And in today's NFL, you need a quarterback that is able to have some mobility to keep plays alive and allow wide receivers to get open. No, I totally agree. And I feel like Jimmy did that. And I feel like Jimmy can still do that. he does have some mobility. Obviously, it's not the level of Justin Fields and Trey Lance, but yeah, you gotta have pocket presence. When you're in the pocket, you have to be able to feel the rush without necessarily seeing it, and be able to move your shoulders to maneuver either up into the pocket or veer to the right or left. So I think that's what Shanahan value most. He wants a quarterback that plays in the pocket, but does have the mobility to get out, and that allows when the quarterback gets out of the pocket, it allows the receivers to get open. Because the corners, let's face it, corners nowadays, the game is geared toward offensive players, and the corners can really only cover for about 3 or 4 seconds, and the ball should be out already. Let's see. Do we take a running back in the second round? I'll be surprised. That's kind of high for us to take a running back in the second round. I don't think so. I feel like we have bigger needs other than running back. I do feel like we'll take a running back, but I feel like it'll be later in the draft because I think we still need to address corner, edge rusher, interior lineman, probably corner, interior lineman, and edge rusher. And then, the big elephant in the room, what are we going to do about at right tackle with, Mike McGlinchey? McGlinchey is, this is his fourth year on his contract, and he has a possible fifth-year option that the Niners need to make a decision on. I believe in the next month or so. I believe sometime in May, the 49ers have to make a decision whether we're going to guarantee McGlinchey's salary for next year, which is, I think it's like $10 million. So I can see us definitely taking a tackle to eventually replace McGlinchey because I don't know about you guys, but usually teams don't pay a left tackle and a right tackle, top 5, top 10 tackle money on the same team. Usually that doesn't happen. And I hear that the Colts were interested in possibly getting McGlinchey. That'd be interesting if the Colts offer us a trade for McGlinchey. Do the 49ers pull the trigger? Because, I don't know if McGlinchey is necessarily worth 10 mil, but we'll see how he plays this year. He had a few great seasons when Joe Staley was the left tackle. Him and Joe Staley were best buds on the team. I don't know what happened last year. So maybe it was a blip last year and not a trend. That's what we hope. And hopefully he'll come back and he'll be ready to play much better this year. Sports Talk Big Ben. I know you're talking Niners, but I want your thoughts on the Jets sending Sam Darnold to the Panthers. Yeah, I think that's a good trade, definitely for Sam Darnold. I know he's happy to get the hell out of New York because that was a disaster. Sam Darnold with the Jets. Adam Gase has not really panned out as a head coach. He failed with the Dolphins. He didn't allow Tannehill, the Dolphins quarterback at the time, to be successful. And then when Tannehill went to the Tennessee Titans, he balled out. He got that massive contract extension. I know Tannehill was glad to get away from South Beach when Adam Gase was there. And then Adam Gase goes to the New York Jets. He's supposed to be this offensive guru, but that didn't come to fruition. He definitely didn't make Sam Darnold play his best for whatever reasons. It could have been weapons, I don't know. But Adam Gase hasn't done a great job as a head coach. And I think the Panthers did a good job. I wonder what they're going to do with Teddy B. Are you going to have Teddy B and Sam Darnold on the Panthers? I mean, I wonder if any teams would be interested in trading for Teddy Bridgewater. Let's see, off the top of my head, maybe Denver. Maybe Denver could trade for Teddy B. But I hear they may be looking to trade into the top 5 to get a quarterback of the future. So we'll see what happens. But I think Sam Darnold to the Panthers. I think, I don't know if the Panthers are a playoff team. They definitely have weapons, though, with McCaffrey, Moore, and Robbie Anderson. So they definitely have weapons. But, they're in a tough division with the Saints, with the Buccaneers, and them good old ATL Falcons. So, I think Sam Darnold will definitely have his best season as a quarterback, though, with the Panthers and under Matt Rule. That's for sure. Great question, though. Sports Talk. Looks like Niners all day. I take Wyatt Davis in the second. He's a great guard, and he's played with Fields. Yeah, we definitely need to strengthen the interior offensive line. That's for sure. Our projected lineup, let's see, we got Trent at left, Lincoln Thomas at left guard, Mack at center, but, he's up there in age. So it would be nice to have someone ready in place behind Mack. Now, also with Brunskill at right guard, we did re-sign him in the offseason, but it's good to have depth at all those positions. Great suggestion. Redder 4, what's good? Thanks for coming through, man. It's all good. Redder 4 says, do you think Mac Jones to 49ers is a possibility? Yeah, it's definitely a possibility, but I feel like Mac Jones is the closest to Jimmy G, and 49ers trading into the top three, they want to significantly upgrade the quarterback position. And by drafting Mac Jones, I don't think that would, come to fruition. I don't think that would be a significant upgrade over Jimmy G. I feel like Fields and Lance can do more. They're definitely more mobile, more athletic. And I'd rather see one of those two get drafted to the Niners than, Mac Jones. And Niners All Day made a great point about talking about the offensive line. That definitely is a position that we need to address. And of course, the free agency this season, Trent Williams, the big silverback, that was we didn't know if Trent Williams would resign with the Niners. I had a feeling that he wouldn't, but I'm glad that, Parag Marate and John Lynch got the deal done to bring back Trent Williams. He'll be protecting Jimmy G's blind side. 6-year deal, $138 million, the highest paid contract for a left tackle ever. And there is a potential out in that contract. I highly doubt that Trent Williams is going to play the entire 6 years with the Niners. I'd be shocked. There's a potential out in 2024 where if the 49ers let Trent Williams go, it'll only be a $12 million cap hit. And I believe the next year after that, if they let Trent Williams go, it'd only be a $6 million cap hit. So I highly doubt Trent Williams will fulfill the rest of that contract with the Niners. I'd be shocked. And Alex Mack, was icing on the cake. We needed a center, and Shanahan knows Alex Mack from their days with the Atlanta Falcons, and Alex Mack helped solidify that center position because when Weston Richburg went out, we still obviously went to the Super Bowl, but the next year, we were still relying on Weston Richburg, and unfortunately, he wasn't available. And Mack solidifies that center position. He can call out, the defensive adjustments. He can call out the line protections for the offensive linemen, things like that. We needed a veteran presence to help out Jimmy G, and also the rookie, whether he plays this year or next year. Also, we re-signed Daniel Brunskill. He'll be at the right guard position. I feel like he's a solid signing, and he's a good player. And I can't wait to see him beside Alex Mack. How can he learn from Alex Mack? How can Alex Mack help Brunskill? So that'd be intriguing to see. Looks like Redder says Trent Williams is peace. I totally agree with you. Trent Williams, one of the best left tackles in the NFL, if not the best. He got his money, and I'm looking forward to him in red and gold for years to come. Looks like Tommy says, thanks for coming through, Tommy. Looks like he says, Sudfield equals Sally Fields. That's funny. Sudfield, he's only played 4 games in 3 years. I believe, did he go? I think he might have went into the game last year with the Eagles, the last game of the season when they took out Jalen Hurts, and I think they put Sudfeld in. It was a bizarre decision. But, Sudfeld, he brings depth to the quarterback position because we definitely, let's be real faithful, we definitely needed to improve the quarterback room. Mullins and Beathard, clearly they weren't the guy. They may play well in spurts, but for multiple games in the season, they're just not the guy. So we definitely needed to improve the position. We got Sudfeld, Josh Johnson's there, and Josh Rosen. So now, the quarterback we bring in the draft. Looks like Niners all day. Kyle has been with 2 immobile quarterbacks and got Jimmy and Matt to a Super Bowl and lost. Maybe it's time for him to switch things up. No, that's true. I mean, with that Super Bowl run with the Falcons, they were on fire. And, some people blame Shanahan. Oh, you should have ran the ball in the Super Bowl, yada, yada, yada. But, the defense played a hand in that as well. The defense didn't play its best football in the second half of that Super Bowl. And, but yeah, that's interesting that Shanahan has gotten to the Super Bowl with 2 mobile quarterbacks, with 2 immobile quarterbacks. Jimmy didn't play his best fourth quarter. I think we can all agree with that. The 49ers defense did, allow Pat Mahomes. Basically, we had Pat Mahomes in check, the first 3 quarters, and then that fourth quarter, we know the rest is history. But yeah, I think Shanahan will try to get a mobile QB, and I think that'll definitely help the team going forward. 49ers Ultimate Report says Asante Samuel Jr. at 43 is my pick. Yeah, I think we definitely need to get a corner. We need to address our most pressing needs, which is corner, interior offensive line, and edge rusher. And Asante Samuel Jr. Yeah, if he's available at 43, I think we should definitely pick him up because we do need to get more depth at the cornerback position because we're relying on Jason Verrett. He had last year. Some would argue it's a blip. Hopefully this was a trend of him staying healthy. I believe he played 15 games last year, Jason Verrett, and I think that's like the second time he's done that in his career. And I believe he's played in the NFL 7-8 years. So, and also with Mosley, Emmanuel Mosley, he got hurt last year. And if one of those guys goes down, I believe it's Asante Samuel or the highest rated corner we pick will need to come in and fill that void at each corner spot. So Asante Samuel will be a solid pick. Redder 4 says, I think that cornerback will be the second round pick for Niners. Exactly. Yeah, it looks like you agree with John J., the 49ers Ultimate Report. Yeah, make sure you guys check out 49ers Ultimate Report with John J. He has a lot of content, and I appreciate watching his channel, and he has great insight. So, yeah, I think second round pick for the Niners should be a corner for sure. If Asante Samuel's better, is available, I should say. Looks like Niners All Day says, what do you think about Talonia Hufunga from USC? He's a monster and love to get him in the 4th or 5th round. I haven't seen too much tape from him, but I think you mentioned his name before. It looks like you said, yeah, he's a safety. Haven't seen too much tape from him, but I mean, safety, I don't think that's necessarily a position of need. I mean, we got Jimmy Ward. We got Marcel Harris. We still have Tavarius Moore. We got Tavon Wilson. And then we got Jaquiski Tart. So we got 5 already. But he could be an option in the 4th or 5th round, as you said. But I would be surprised if we got another safety. But I guess you could say maybe not because Tart's deal is only for 1 year. Tavon Wilson's deal is only for 1 year. Marcel Harris, I believe his deal is only for 1 year. I'm not sure how many years Tavarius Moore has left on his contract. So, yeah, safety could be an option. So, we'll see. Looks like Mystical Mixes says, what's up? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, baby. Looks like Redder says, this probably won't happen, but what if the 49ers traded for a great cornerback? When I think of a great cornerback that we could possibly trade for, it's probably Stephon Gilmore of the Patriots. He could be an option. I don't know if the Niners want to pay that much salary though to a cornerback. I don't know how much salary cap we still have left. Obviously, if we traded, Jimmy G for Gilmore, I'm sure, their salaries we could accommodate, Gilmore's salary. But I don't know. I'd be surprised if we pulled off a trade for a great corner, especially since we already paid, Verrett, Mosley, K'Wan Williams. So we already have a few corners, signed. So I'd be surprised. Looks like Redder says, or a good one. And it looks like Redder says, wait, did you guys get Marcel Darius? I don't think so. I haven't heard any news on Marcel Darius. Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Did we pick up Marcel Darius? I don't think so. But and going back to free agency, we also signed we re-signed Mohamed Sanu. I mean, he knows Shanahan's system. He played his best ball with Shanahan with the ATL Falcons, but that was like 4 or 5 years ago. So what exactly does, Mohamed Sanu have left? We'll see what happens. He could just be, camp body preseason. We'll see if he makes the squad. But I want to see what Jalen Hurd and Juwan Jennings do. Unfortunately, they battled injuries. And, what are they going to provide? What are they going to bring to the table in training camp and preseason and things like that? So we also re-signed Ross Dwelly, backup tight end. I feel like this is a solid signing. He's backing up, George Kittle and Jordan Reed. He's still out there. And Jordan Reed, when he was healthy, he played pretty well with the Niners. He was playing majority of the time with, Nick Mullins. So, I want to see Jordan Reed with Jimmy G. I wonder if they it can develop some chemistry. And I'm sure Jordan Reed won't expect a top 5 tight end salary. He's not getting that. He's definitely a top 5 talent, that's for sure. But he's battled injuries. But 1 year deal, veteran minimum for Jordan Reed to come in. What do you guys think about that? I think we should definitely explore that option. Another receiver we resigned in free agency this offseason was River Craycraft. River hasn't really done much yet. Yeah, I think he was resigned for depth purposes. But we'll see what River Craycraft does. Trent Sherfield, we resigned him from the Arizona Cardinals. I think he's a solid signing. Maybe he will perform on special teams. And, but he's another receiver that we added to the bunch. So looks like Redder says, my bad. It's all good, man. No worries. And looks like Darius House is high. Thanks for coming through to the stream, Darius. And Redder says, Sanu, I think he meant to say Sanu was good in Falcons. Yeah, Sanu had his best years with them good old ATL Falcons. Yeah, Sanu was good. He was good with the Falcons, but, I don't know what happened last year. I mean, I don't think he played any games with Jimmy G last year. I don't think. But he only played 3 games last year. Sanu did. He was only targeted, one time. He had 1 catch for 9 yards. So, the 49ers obviously didn't really need him at that time, last year. So we'll see what Sanu brings to the table this year. Obviously, he's a veteran. He's been in the league quite some time. He knows Shanahan's system, but I don't know. Can he still perform on the field? What can he still bring on the field? 49ers ultimate report. 49ers should look at Kadarius Toney to replace Bourne. All right. Yeah, I'm always down to bring in more talent at the wide receiver position because, we do need to bring in a receiver to replace Bourne. I mean, in the best case scenario, we wouldn't have to draft another receiver, and we can just rely on either Juwan Jennings or Jalen Hurd to fill Kendrick Bourne's spot. Like that would be a nice luxury to have, but you just don't know with those guys because they battle injuries. I think Jalen Hurd had the back issue the first season, and then last year I believe he tore his ACL. I'm not sure about the injury with Jennings, but I know he was injured, pretty much all the season. He didn't play last year, so it was a significant injury. But yeah, I'm eager to see, will the Niners select a wide receiver? Could they select a wide receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round? Cornerback is obviously a more glaring spot, but I mean, you could argue wide receiver is because outside of Debo and Ayuk and Kittle, who else is Jimmy G going to, throw the ball to? So wide receiver is a pressing need. That's why I'm surprised we didn't upgrade that wide receiver position in free agency with a veteran wide receiver like T.Y. Hilton, Willie Snead, someone like that. Niners all day. Zach Wilson was in New York shopping for houses, so I think he's a lock for the Jets. Yeah, most likely. I'm sure the Jets have told him, hey, we're selecting you, with the number 2 pick. So, that's an exciting moment for Zach Wilson and Zach Wilson's family, buying a house. You're about to be out. I'm assuming he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Jets. I don't know who their backup quarterbacks are with the Jets, so most likely he's going to be starting game 1. And, the Jets do have talent, but we'll see what happens with Zach Wilson and the Jets. Looks like Niners All Day says, ultimate report, I like that. Okay, he's probably talking about the receiver that we should look at. Redder says, nah, Debo and Brandon are good. Yeah, they're good, but we need more depth. We need, because Debo was hurt last year. Ayuk was hurt a little bit last year as well. Debo, he had a sophomore slump. He came on strong as a rookie out of South Carolina, and the second year, we're expecting big things from him, and unfortunately, injury bug got him. But we still need another. I think we need another receiver for sure. Niners all day. Sign Troy Warner if he's not drafted. Yeah, I mean, he's Fred Warner's brother. He's got an excellent pedigree. Yeah, I don't see why not. Bring him into camp. I think he plays safety, Troy Warner, I believe. So, yeah, bring him into camp. See what he can do. R&B Bros says, we think Trey Lance is the pick for the 49ers in the draft. All right, R&B Bros, thanks for coming through to the stream, baby. Yeah, you're the first first person to say they want Trey Lance. Everyone else is saying Justin Fields, but I appreciate your perspective. Honestly, Fields has done it on a bigger stage than Lance, and that's part of the reason why I like Fields. But if Shanahan thinks Lance has a higher ceiling or will be better, then I trust Lance. I trust Shanahan. I trust that he can mentor a quarterback, teach them, and he'll be able to get the most out of any quarterback we draft. That's what I feel. So, but yeah, I'm intrigued. This is a huge pick. The 49ers haven't had top 3 draft picks since Alex Smith in 2005. So this would be a historic night for sure, because the Niners don't get this pick right, it could spell the end of the Lynch and Shanahan, partnership. But if they get this right, I mean, man, you're talking about you could have your franchise quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years. So yeah, I can't wait for draft night. Looks like Reddit 4 says nah. Reddit 4 likes Fields most likely. Yeah, I could see that. Looks like Redditor says Mac is slept on, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I don't think at the number 3 pick we should get him. If we wanted to stay at 12, and if Mac Jones was still there and Shanahan liked him at 12, then yeah. But to upgrade, we wanted to upgrade. Shanahan wants to upgrade the quarterback's position significantly, and it just seems like Lance and Fields have a higher ceiling than Jones. It seems like Jones is most likely going to be like a Jimmy G, which is a solid above average quarterback when healthy. But I feel like they want to take a chance on a player who's a little bit more mobile. And, I think that pick would either be Fields or Lance. Looks like Redder says, I hope Debo bounces back, especially as a South Carolina fan. Yeah, I mean, hopefully Debo bounces back. And, I can't wait to see it. He's going to be, it's the Yak Bros. It's Debo, it's Ayuk, and it's Kittle. Those are the best pass catchers we have on the field. And when they're healthy, they'll be able to help the team and, of course, help Jimmy G. Niners All Day says cornerback or safety for Troy. Oh, okay, about Troy Warner. Okay. Yeah, I wonder, it seems like I wonder where is he projected to get drafted? Is he like a day 2 or day 3 guy? We'll see what happens with that. R&B Bros, these quarterbacks are all talented in the draft. It is hard to pick one. Yeah, I agree. Because, if Mac Jones had a hell of a year at Alabama, he's an excellent quarterback. He only played, 1 year. But, he had a hell of a season. Trey Lance, when you look at his numbers in college, they're incredible. But he didn't play against the best defensive talent he could have. And then with Justin Fields, he had a similar season with that Trey Lance had. He threw a little bit more interceptions, but he played great on the biggest stage at Ohio State. So all the quarterbacks are definitely talented. And I mean, you could argue that Justin Fields could be picked second overall. You could make the argument that. But all these quarterbacks are supremely talented. This will be one of the best quarterback drafts, or at least, the next 2 to 3 years. They'll say, okay, how did Lawrence do in Jacksonville? How did Wilson do in New York? All these quarterbacks will be judged against each other. Kind of like when the Steelers drafted Big Ben and the Giants drafted Eli Manning. Those two quarterbacks, they were always pitted against each other. Oh, who had the more successful career? I think this will be a similar draft class where the quarterbacks will always be judged against each other and which team made the best decision. Looks like Redder says he agrees. And, one of the reasons the 49ers had that great Super Bowl run was the pass rush faithful. We had Bosa on one end. You had D Ford on the other. You had, Buckner on the inside with Armstead sometimes on the inside. And the 49ers need to keep that position as strength. And in free agency, that's what I wanted them to do. I wanted them to get, like a Justin Houston who's still available. Ryan Kerrigan. I wanted them to upgrade the position with a veteran defensive end. I don't know if it was money. That's why they didn't want to spend that money towards a defensive end. But I still feel like we should get another defensive end. But most likely it's going to be – Ronald Blair is still available. I haven't heard if we're going to re-sign him yet. I think it's pending a physical, but I haven't heard anything final that we've re-signed Ronald Blair. Obviously, that would help the defensive line, but we had to re-sign DJ Jones. Go DJ. That's my DJ. Glad to see DJ Jones back. He's been a good player with the 49ers. He'll be lining up inside defensive tackle next to Kinlaw. So happy we re-signed him back. We also got Samson Ebukam. Always good to pick up a player from a division rival, and that's what we did. He played linebacker. I think he had like about 4.5 sacks with the Rams, but it looks like he's going to be playing defensive end. That's what he's been told. We picked up Zach Kerr. I feel like he'll be, veteran presence. He'll be more of I'm not expecting him to get multiple sacks in a season. He's more of like a depth guy. We re-signed Jordan Willis. We traded for him last year from Cincinnati. He's more of a depth defensive end. We signed Nathan Gary, a linebacker from the Philadelphia Eagles. I feel like he's probably more of a special teams player. But it's good that Shanahan is making strides toward continuing the strength of the defensive line, because that's what helps the entire defense. It's the defensive line. You get pressure on the quarterback. Quarterback can't hold the ball as long, and it helps the secondary make plays on the ball, and the secondary doesn't have to cover as long when the defensive line is getting pressure. Looks like Niners All Day says in Justin Fields' pro day interviews, he said he would love to be a Niner, so that's good. Yeah, who wouldn't want to be a 49er, right? Ever since Aaron Rodgers said, he wanted to be a 49er, way back when in 2005. I even heard Zach Wilson would love to be a 49er, but yeah, if you're a young rookie quarterback, 49ers have the best situation. Jacksonville, they're rebuilding. Trevor Lawrence, I'm sure he'll play well under Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer knows his football. He's an offensive genius. And, Zach Wilson, he's going to New York. They're rebuilding. He'll be under defensive-minded head coach Robert Saleh. But Robert Saleh did bring over our former passing coordinator. His name is escaping me, but Robert Saleh and our former passing coordinator went to the New York Jets. And that passing coordinator will be the offensive coordinator. So we'll see how Zach Wilson does under the tutelage of the New York Jets. But yeah, if I was a young rookie quarterback, I want to go to the Niners. We were just in the Super Bowl, a year ago. And, we revamped the offensive line. We have weapons on skill positions. You're under the tutelage of one of the best play callers, play callers, and also designing plays under Shanahan. So you have the best of both worlds, and you're in the Bay Area. What's better than living in the Bay Area, baby? So, and I wouldn't want to go. Atlanta, I hear they may be trading down, most likely. There are several teams inquiring about that 4th overall pick. But I feel like the Niners are the best situation for a rookie quarterback to enter. R&B Bros, what do you think of the 49ers trading up and drafting rookie Najee Harris late in the first round? That would be interesting. That would be interesting. I've seen Najee go as high as 20. I've seen him go, in the back of the first round of the draft. So that would be interesting. That would be, we don't need a running back that high, but, Najee Harris is a beast, There's no doubt about that. Najee Harris, was one of the best running backs in college last year. And that would be intriguing because we'd have Mostert, Wilson, Najee Harris. That would be intriguing. I'd be surprised, though. But Lynch has shown that he will trade back up into the first round. He did it in 2017. It didn't really work out. But, he traded back up to get Reuben Foster in the first round. I believe we did that last year with the Ayuk show. Drafted Kinlaw and then traded back up to get, Brandon Ayuk. So he has shown the ability, hey, I can, trade up back into the first round. We still got, I think we still have, like 9 or 10 picks in the draft. So, that is an option. And he would, bring, a lot of speed, tenaciousness to the running back room. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So it's like Niners all day says, I don't think Mac would survive in the C West. You know, I mean, I don't want a rookie quarterback starting in the NFC West. I mean, up in Seattle, you got Kerry Hyder, Carlos Dunlap, Jamal Adams, LA Rams, Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey. With the Arizona Cardinals, you got J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones. I mean, not only do the NFC West teams, have the better quarterbacks, but they also have the better defensive fronts in the NFL. And I don't think you should throw a rookie quarterback in the NFC West. So that's definitely why I think we should keep, Jimmy G for the rest of the year. He balls out, his stock will be high, and then we can move off of Jimmy G, in the future. So yeah, NFC West is no joke. Niners all day says the R&B Bros. I would not mind that at all. Yeah, I mean that would be excellent to pick up Najee Harris. I wonder what compensation would we have to give up, but that would be a surprising pick. But he would definitely benefit the Niners right off the bat. He wouldn't start. I still think you would have Mostert, but I think he can compete with Wilson for that backup spot for sure. And Mostert unfortunately got hurt last year, and we need depth at that running back spot. So that'd be an intriguing move, I would say. Looks like Niners all day says I think Walbar is a day 3 guy, possibly day 2. Okay. Oh no, looks like he said Warner. Okay. Yeah. We'll see where Warner gets drafted. Safety. I feel like our need in the secondary is more at corner than safety, but we'll see. We'll see where he gets drafted. Redder says, got to go. I appreciate you coming through to the stream, man. Good luck to your Pittsburgh Steelers in the draft and in free agency. Looks like Redder also says, before I leave, even if they do draft Mac, then Mac is in a great situation. No, that's very true. Mac would be in a great situation if he got drafted to the Niners. I think whichever quarterback gets drafted to the Niners, they'll be in the best situation, as far as head coach, skill guys on the offensive side of the ball. And he doesn't, most rookie quarterbacks, they don't start off, the first year of their NFL career starting. It's pretty rare. Justin Herbert, I know Justin Herbert won Rookie of the Year last year, but he wasn't the planned starter. Tyrod Taylor's own doctor took him out, and Tyrod Taylor unfortunately missed a few games, and then Justin Herbert lit it up. But he wasn't the projected starter out of training camp. Justin Herbert was not. So Joe Burrow was, but I feel like usually rookie quarterbacks will start if the team is not a contender. So if it's a rebuilding team like Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Jets, then yeah, go ahead and throw a rookie quarterback in there. What do you have to lose? But with the Niners, with the red and gold, we are still I feel like we still are a playoff contending team. We'll see how we play in the season. And then that'll determine, okay, I think we could actually get to the Super Bowl, but we can definitely still compete in a tough NFC West division. I mean, I feel like it's wide open. Every team could say, oh, well, we could be the favorite to win the division. And I'm talking about the Rams, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and, of course, the Niners. So it's an incredible division. And, whichever rookie quarterback we draft, they'll definitely be in the best position. Niners all day 55. He says, what about Quincy Roche from Miami? He's super good and could be a good addition to the edge. Yeah, I think we definitely need to continue to make sure the defensive line is a strength. With D Ford, he probably won't play more than 15, 20 snaps a game. Somebody Buckham seems like he'll be, I don't know if he'll play. He probably won't start on the defensive end because I feel like Armstead most likely will start on the end. I think we should definitely continue to provide an influx of talent on that defensive line because, injuries happen and it's always good to have depth at those positions on the defensive line. R&B Bros says Jalen Hurts might be a beast if he's healthy next to Debo and Ayuk. I can't wait. Yeah, I know, right? Jalen Hurts, the only thing is, can he get healthy? And it sucks because obviously no player wants to get hurt. It's not their fault. But, he had the back injury the first year. Then he had the ACL tear. And it's like, you have injury after injury. It's like you can't rely on him. It's almost like he will be a surprise if he's healthy throughout camp. he makes the 53-man roster. And but yeah, that would be interesting to see because Hurd was good in college. He was pretty good. So for that ultimate report, Troy Warner is projected to be day 3 and will be a 6th or 7th round selection. Okay. No, that's good to know. Thank you, John J. Let's see. Niners All Day says, hopefully we can grab Warner. Love to have the Warner Bros. Yeah, that would be good. They both went to BYU. Yeah, that would be good to have Warner. We should definitely, if we do pick him up in the draft, in the later rounds, I would love to see him in camp. And, it'll be interesting to see him compete with the other 49ers. It's like Tommy Huxley says LaFleur. Yeah. So he was the passing game coordinator with the Niners last year, and thank you for reminding me of his name. But yeah, LaFleur went to the New York Jets with Robert Saleh, and LaFleur will be the offensive coordinator for the New York Jets under Robert Saleh. So how will LaFleur be able to develop Zach Wilson? And that's an exciting position to be in. LaFleur, you're in NYC. Now you're going to develop a young rookie quarterback in Zach Wilson. So that's an exciting position to be in. So all the best of luck for the New York Jets, LaFleur, and Saleh, except, of course, when you play the Niners. But, every other week, it'll be interesting to see how they play this year. Matt Navarro, thanks for coming through, man. Redder says, I hope people keep sleeping on Mac because I want him to prove them wrong. I'm back, by the way. Thanks for coming back through, man. Yeah, I think, Mac, he played good in college, but I feel like there are players that are slightly better than him and have higher upside. So, but it's interesting to see where Mac will get drafted because I hear Atlanta Falcons are shopping that 4th overall pick. They want to trade down. And there are several teams that are interested. Washington could trade up with Atlanta. Denver could trade up with Atlanta. I was thinking Carolina, but not now since they got Sam Darnold. I doubt they would trade up. Those are the 2 teams that come to mind that could possibly trade up with Atlanta to get that 4th pick. Washington and Denver. It's like Redder says, I only had to do something real quick. Okay. Thanks for coming back, man. Let's see. Tommy Huxley says John Jay's favorite football player is Brian Allen. Okay. And Tommy also says Jalen Hurd cannot stay healthy, and you have low expectations for him, unfortunately. Yeah. Fortunately, you can't rely too much on Hurd because he just can't stay healthy. So, whatever he does, if he makes the 53-man and he's able to stay healthy, it's like icing on the cake, but you just can't rely on him because, he's unfortunately he's had 2 back-to-back seasons where he's missed the entire year due to injuries. 49ers Ultimate Report. Let's see. Justin Herbert was 6-9 in 15 games, had outstanding stats, and they had a good team already. But it's true there are a very small percentage of rookie quarterbacks that have quick success. Yeah, it's pretty rare. The biggest difference from college to NFL is the speed of the game. In college you might be able to wait until a receiver gets open before you throw the ball. But in NFL, you can't do that. You have to throw the receivers open. The defensive coverages in the NFL, they're more complex compared to college. Everyone is fast in the NFL. Everyone's running, 4-5 or better on defense, especially in the linebacker positions, the defensive line, the secondary, everyone's fast. So, yeah, it's surprising when a rookie quarterback comes in, plays well, but it's pretty rare. Herbert actually, obviously he had the outstanding rookie year, but his team did not go to the playoffs. Burrow looked good when he was in there with Cincinnati, and then he got hurt. Tua went in last year a little bit, but Tua struggled, and I think that's what you expect from a rookie quarterback. You expect him to struggle with reading coverages, with the speed of the game, but yeah, it's still pretty rare. 49ers Ultimate Report said, okay. Redder says, Max the Beast. I'm an Alabama fan and a South Carolina fan. No, I'm not bandwagon. I have a reason as an Alabama fan. Yeah, man. Hey, man, you can like any team you want, man. It's all good, Redder. But yeah, you saw Mac Jones play, his best college football. like let's say if Zach Wilson went back to college next year, and if Lance and Fields went back to school next year as well, then yeah, Mac Jones would probably be the number one, obviously behind Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, Mac Jones would then be like the best option behind Trevor Lawrence. But I think teams just see that there's more upside with Fields and Lance. So, but yeah, I'm intrigued by which team will take a flyer on Mac Jones. Could even be the Patriots. Patriots may want to move up into the top 4. Maybe select Mac Jones. We shall see. And let's see. Tommy says, 49ers Ultimate Report, remember that cornerback. LOL. Looks like Wyatt. Thanks for coming through, Wyatt. Kalen Ballard to the Steelers. That's a good move, I think. Yeah, I think Kalen, I believe he plays running back, I think. So, yeah, and the Steelers definitely do need to upgrade the running back position. I think I've seen mock drafts where actually the Steelers select Najee Harris because Steelers definitely need to upgrade that running back position. So, we'll see how this draft plays out. It could definitely go in a variety of ways. So, let's see. Tommy says Mac is not a beast. He couldn't beat out Tua. Yeah, well, Tua was lighting it up in college. Tua was lighting it up. If he didn't have those injury concerns, he had that horrible hip injury in college. He could have went, number 1 or number 2 overall. So, but yeah, Tua was a great college quarterback, and but Mac had similar success with Tua. They both were successful college quarterbacks. So you can't knock that, Tommy. Let's see. Niners All Day says, I'm just hoping for the field of dreams. That's funny. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the draft night because it could go in a variety of different ways. And yeah, I mean, if Shanahan thinks Fields is the guy, I'm cool with that. Shanahan thinks Lance is a little bit better. I mean, I'm cool with that too because I trust Shanahan. He's going to be, training the quarterbacks, and I feel like he's the best man for the job. So whoever is his guy, I think, they'll be the guy for the job. So speaking of cornerback, we have been talking about cornerbacks, getting drafted possibly in the second round of the draft, but we also signed some cornerbacks. Going into the offseason this year, we only had one cornerback signed. I believe that was Ken Webster. Verrett was a free agent. K'Wan Williams was a free agent. Mosley, I believe, was a restricted free agent. And I didn't think we would be able to re-sign all 3 of those guys. And, John Lynch did an excellent job. Parag Marate. They were able to solidify that defensive backfield. We got Mosley starting at one corner, Verrett on the other side, and then K'Wan, one of the best slot corners in the NFL. All 3 of them are coming back, so that's great. And if we have a good pass rush, we could replicate that 2019, secondary that led us, to the Super Bowl run. We also re-signed Marcel Harris, plays the safety position. We re-signed Dante Johnson, plays the corner. And then we added depth with Tavon Wilson and Jaquiski Tart. Most likely just Jaquiski Tart will start at that opposite safety spot of Jimmy Ward. So it was good to see that Lynch addressed – I feel like Lynch addressed all the needs in free agency. He solidified the offensive line, got some backup quarterbacks, and then he got an edge rusher in Samsung Bucum. But yeah, he addressed pretty much all the needs in free agency. Only thing I wish he would have got is established vet wide receiver like an Emmanuel Sanders. Like, if he'd got someone like that, I think he pretty much would have had like a perfect, all season. So let's get back to the comments. Let's see. Redder says Wyatt along. I think it's a decent move, but I don't think he's the answer for my Steelers. Yeah, because I've heard that the Steelers definitely want to, add talent at the running back spot, and Najee Harris will be a great option for your Steelers if he's still available where you guys are picking in this year's draft. Let's see. Tommy says 49 Ultimate Report. That was Fitzmagic's favorite player on the Niners that game. I know you guys talking about. Yeah, that was Ryan Fitzpatrick and them good old Dolphins beat the brakes rocks off them good old Niners, man. That was I don't even remember I think the cornerback's name was Allen, and I haven't seen him since. You know, Fitzpatrick was going his direction on every play, and I remember that game, unfortunately. And Akello Witherspoon, when that game happened, I remember I was like, why isn't Akello Witherspoon in the game? Especially when he came in, I think in like the second quarter of the game. And I was like, well, why? If you're healthy enough, you feel good enough to go in the second quarter, then why wouldn't you start the game? But you know, who knows? But yeah, Fitzmagic, he played a hell of a game that year. Tommy actually said, a Redder says, Tommy, I hope Mac proves everyone wrong. I think Mac will. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but it just depends on the situation. Depends on who he gets drafted to. But he had a hell of a college career, but he only had 1 year. So we'll see what happens. Looks like Wyatt says, hopefully Jimmy G and Kittle can stay healthy. Sorry for anything misspelled. I'm typing sideways because I have my screen locked. It's all good. No, everything looks good. Yeah, I mean, you know, Jimmy G and Kittle are a great tandem. You know, and Kittle loves Jimmy G as a starting quarterback of the red and gold. And, you know, hopefully Jimmy and Kittle can stay healthy because Jimmy has had injury issues, but Kittle has had injury issues as well, you know. But I know this year, I should say this past year, you know, Jimmy, I don't know if you guys remember this play. I forgot who we were playing against, but Jimmy threw a ball. I think it was Arizona? I think it might have been Arizona where Jimmy threw a ball and Kittle had to it was a high ball. It was an inaccurate throw. Kittle had to reach for it. You know, he exposed his body. And I think it was Buda Baker who hit Kittle in his knees or something. And, yeah. And obviously that play was, you know, Buda Baker, he did it. I think it was a clean hit. You know, Kittle didn't say it was dirty, but Jimmy G threw that pass. If it would have been a more accurate pass, Kittle wouldn't have had to reach for it. And if he had just hit Kittle in his chest, you know, he wouldn't have exposed his body. But before that, Kittle has some injury concerns. But last year, it doesn't seem like that was his fault. Tommy says, I just don't want him on my team. He might be good on the Pats. Who knows? Mac is not top 10. Yeah. I think there are other quarterbacks who are more talented than Mac. You know, he had a hell of a year in college, but there are definitely more players at the quarterback position who are more talented. And we want to, you know, exponentially upgrade the team. We don't want to just get someone who's most similar to Jimmy G. So, Niners all day. Faithful Fields. Yeah, you gotta get your jersey, man. You got to get your Justin Fields jersey ready. Niners all day. You know, are you going to get, you know, you're all red, or you going to get, you know, the away jersey? You're going to get the all black, you know, Justin Fields jersey? Let me know. Looks like Tommy says, Mac Jones cannot beat out Jimmy G. I bet a G on that. I wouldn't be surprised by that. You know, I think Jimmy G still gives us the best chance to win, regardless. If we get Lance or Fields, if Jimmy G's healthy, I still think he would give us the best chance to win over any of the rookie quarterbacks. Now, would Lance or Fields be more exciting? Will they be more dynamic? Well, yeah. But, you know, Shanahan's system is, you know, takes time to learn. You know, hopefully with the additions that Lynch has made to the offensive line, hopefully that'll give more confidence for Jimmy G. Because it seems like, you know, when the rush would come to him, he would either throw it away, get off balance. You know, he looked a little timid in the pocket. So hopefully with the addition of Alex Mack and Trent Williams on the left side, hopefully the offensive line will be more stout and provide, you know, better protection for Jimmy G. R&B Bros says, what do you think about the 49ers signing cornerback Steven Nelson or cornerback Casey Hayward Jr.? I think Casey Hayward Jr. is probably the better of the two. Those would be two veteran cornerbacks, but I would be surprised if we signed any more veteran cornerbacks because we already re-signed Ken Webster, Verrett, Mosley, and Kwan. So I'd be surprised if we signed another cornerback in free agency. I think we would draft a cornerback. And now, obviously, when the preseason starts, and if there are injuries to the cornerback position, then yeah, all bets are off. I can see us bringing in a cornerback, but I'd be surprised if we brought in another cornerback via free agency if everyone is healthy. So So, yeah, I don't think that would happen. But good question, though. Niners All Day says, since we just lost Bourne, he used to dance a lot and feels dances a lot. He can fill the gap. LOL. Yeah, Kendrick Boy always like to dance. I mean, that's good, man. He's having fun. He loves what he does, and nothing wrong with that. But as long as you bring that performance, as well. So, Redder says he needs a good O line. Mac. Okay, you're talking about Mac Jones. Okay, yeah. I mean, look at the Super Bowl last year with Pat Mahomes going up against the Bucs. I mean, his two starting tackles were out. Pat Mahomes of the Chiefs, and he was running all over the place. And also, Pat Mahomes was hampered as well with the injury. But yeah, you need that offensive line, especially when you're going up against a ferocious pass rush, and that's what we got to continue to get. We got to make sure that pass rush is legit. Bosa's coming off that torn ACL, not expecting much from Ford. Armstead's got to step up. He's got to get some more sacks, man. Expectations are high for you, Armstead. Let's see. Tommy says, my phone's needed a line in the Super Bowl. Okay. Let's see. Tommy says, Redder, what do you think of Trask on the Steelers? I kind of like having him sit for a year behind it. That would be interesting. Yeah. Kyle Trask sitting behind the Steelers. I wonder, Trask, I don't think he's projected to be a first-round pick. So, yeah, maybe the Steelers can get him in the second round. And the Steelers still have Dwayne Haskins. So, hopefully for the Steelers, Dwayne Haskins can turn his career back around, because it seems like Haskins has the talent, but he just didn't put the time in. He didn't have that work ethic. So hopefully Haskins, proves his doubters wrong, and, he makes the most of his opportunity. Looks like Redder says, I got one thing on Trask. Let's see what that one thing is. Redder says, Kyle Trash. That's Kyle. Like Redder says, he's bad, very bad. Trask is horrible. So, so who do you think you guys should get to replace Big Ben? Who do you guys think? It looks like Tommy says, Ben was horrible last season. That was the worst I've seen him play. It wasn't all his fault. The offense was so wonderful. Yeah. It seems like, Steelers, they got off to a good start. I think they were like 9-0, 10-0 last year. They were playing well. But when they had those injuries defensively, Bud Dupree had that torn ACL. The defense wasn't able to get the turnovers and the pass rush. And then also the Steelers couldn't run the ball. Big Ben, he can't beat a team by himself anymore. He's not that Big Ben anymore. So the Steelers, they got to improve that running game and that offensive line. Redder says, yeah, Big Ben needs to retire. No, I agree. And Redder says, to be honest, I'd rather have Haskins over Ben. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Haskins hasn't really shown much, but we'll see what he does in the preseason. I mean, he's got the talent. He's just got to, put the work in. Niners All Day says he thinks Trask is a second-round pick. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Tommy says, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Not a Haskins fan, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, Haskins, he's probably, in the best situation he's been. I mean, he's got weapons. He's got Juju. He's got other receivers. They need to get that running game going in Pittsburgh. They may have to add to that offensive line. And then also, who's going to replace Bud Dupree? They still got T.J. Watt on the defensive end, but who's going to replace Bud Dupree's production on that other end spot? R&B Bros, what do you think about the 49ers drafting cornerback Asante Samuel Jr.? He's got the pedigree. His dad played the cornerback position at a high level with the Patriots and the Eagles. I remember his dad. So he's definitely got the pedigree. If he's available in the second round, and the Niners, are on the clock and he's available, I think the Niners should definitely get Asante Samuel Jr. for sure. If he's not there, maybe get the best edge rusher or interior offensive lineman available. But we definitely need to get another corner for sure, definitely. Tommy says, Redder, yeah, I love the Steelers, but when they play my Niners, they are my worst enemy. LOL. That's funny. Yeah, and we played the Steelers, 2019? Yeah, I think they came to Santa Clara. We beat them. So the Redder says, no offense, but I kind of like the Cardinals. Let's see. Niners All Day says, the Army Bros would not mind it. Love him. Yeah, we definitely got to get that cornerback position. We need to add more depth, more younger talent. We've got, Kwan, Verrett, Mosley. I think Mosley's like probably 25, 26, but Verrett's almost 30. And I think Kwan is almost 30 as well. So, yeah, we need to have an influx of younger talent at that cornerback spot. That's another reason why I don't think Sherman will be back because, he's lost a step, and we want to get younger at the cornerback position. Tommy said, my family is from Pittsburgh on my mom's side, so they are my team in the AFC. Yeah, I wonder what the Steelers will do this year. Let's see. Redder says his team is the Falcons. Yeah, what do you want the Falcons to do with that fourth pick? You want them to trade down? You want them to keep the pick? What do you want them to do, Redder? Redder says there's a guy named Alex Highsmith. He's an outside linebacker going into his second year. He was a third-round pick. He could replace Dupree. Okay. Yeah, because you guys definitely will need to replace Dupree's production. Tommy says Cliff Kingsbury is a horrible coach. They won't win anything with him. We'll see. I mean, the Cardinals were playing good last year. And then when Kyler Murray had that injury to his shoulder, he wasn't the same quarterback. But, the Cardinals added, A.J. Green, on the offensive side of the ball. A.J. Green, 3 or 4 years ago, he was still a pretty good receiver. I'm not sure what he still has left in the tank, but he's not going to be the number one option in Arizona because you got, Hopkins and then A.J. Green. So if you double Hopkins, they'll probably go to A.J. Green. A.J. Green has battled those foot injuries the last 1 or 2 years. So what else does A.J. Green have in the tank? But, we'll see what the Cardinals do because every team in our division is tough. It's no joke. Niners All Day 55 says, I would also take Elijah Molden at 43. He's also a great lockdown cornerback. Cool. Yeah, I want to see who we take in the second round because obviously that's definitely we need to take a position of need there. If we probably should get a corner, but I could also see us getting like an interior offensive lineman as well because I think we definitely need to get someone behind Mack and someone behind Brunskill on the right side of that offensive line. Or we could even get a receiver because I feel like we do need another receiver. So that's an option as well. Just like Redder says, I want Pitts to the Falcons. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too. I was thinking, the Falcons, they should select the best player available or even get a quarterback to someone to replace Matt Ryan eventually because Matt Ryan, he's up there in his career and who knows how many years he has left. But if the Falcons still think that Matt Ryan is the guy, they could select the best skill position player available and get Pitts. But I've heard some Falcons fans say, well, the defense is terrible. We either need to get the best defensive player available or trade down. So, yeah, Redder. Yeah, I've heard the Falcons probably would trade out of that pick. So, looks like the Sports Star says, what's good? Thanks for coming through, Sports Star. I appreciate you coming through, man. Let me know if you have any questions regarding them good old Niners. Let's see. So I want to talk about, obviously, in this live show, the 49ers free agency. The 49ers had, a lot of needs. Not only do we have like 30 players that were going to be free agents, and, we didn't have that much cap space. So in the beginning of this live, I did a shout out to Prab Marate. He did an excellent job. He's been with the Niners for 21 years, and he is the cap guru. So he was able to fit all these contracts and maneuver the contracts and manipulate them so that way we can have more salary cap space. Big shout out to D Ford and Weston Richburg. They did us a solid by restructuring their contracts. And by doing that, we were able to sign the big man, Trent Williams. We were able to sign him, to a long-term contract extension. Obviously, he was the big fish. We had to solidify that offensive line. And I feel like we did that with Mack and with Trent Williams. And who would have thought we would bring back all our cornerbacks in the secondary? I definitely wasn't expecting that. But we're bringing the boys are back in town, so I'm happy that Trent did, or excuse me, I'm happy that Lynch did that. He was able to bring those guys back, and we also added some talent that I had never even heard of Sam. So but hopefully he comes over. He has success rushing the passer because we'll definitely need that. So looks like Redder says, yeah, defense is bad. We need edge, cornerback. AJ Terrell is good, but another one is good, and safety and other positions. Yeah. Is Joe Hayden still signed with the Steelers, or is he a free agent? Yeah, because I know, the defense was solid, but yeah, when Bud Dupree got hurt, that was when it kind of went, downhill from there. So, but I'm definitely, intrigued for the 49ers draft. Also intrigued, the 49ers free agency isn't over just yet. There are definitely still some players out there. There are definitely some positions of need. But yeah, and I haven't heard about Ronald Blair yet. I know Ronald Blair was, I think he was scheduled to meet with the 49ers. I believe his signing a contract is pending on a physical. I haven't heard if he has passed his physical yet. So we'll see about Ronald Blair, but obviously he would add depth to the defensive line at the edge rush position. So just like Redder says, yeah, Joe Hayden is still on the Steelers. Cool. Okay. It's like a Sports Star says, my prediction is that they pick Mac because they didn't go to Fields Pro Day, and Lance is not my favorite. Yeah, I think they wanted to check out Mac. I think their pro days were on the same day for some reason, Mac Jones and Justin Fields. But I'm sure the 49ers brass was at the Justin Fields pro day. Maybe Shanahan and Lynch weren't there, but I'm sure other scouts were there. And, Shanahan does know Fields. Fields was at Shanahan's quarterback camp, so he does know him. And also, I believe Shanahan and Lynch will be at the second pro day for Justin Fields. So, and Lance is the wild card. He doesn't have a ton of film, but he did dominate at the college level. Obviously, it wasn't against the top tier defenses in the college, but he's definitely an intriguing pick. Let's see. Niners All Day says they're going next week. Yeah. So they're going to check out Justin Fields pro day, and they're probably going to check out Trey Lance's his second pro day. But pro days, I mean, you just throwing the ball in the park. I can look to the right and I can look to the left. I mean, I can do that too. I can throw the ball, against air, but what most means to me is how do you play against other teams? How do you play, when the lights are brightest? And I feel like Justin Fields, he played exceptionally well against, the better talent, comparing him to Trey Lance. But whether it's Trey Lance, whether it's Fields, I'll be happy either way because that means that means Shanahan got his guy. So have a good night, Redder. Thanks for coming through, man. I appreciate you watching the stream, and I'll see you at the next one, man. Looks like Niners All Day says Fields has a pro day next week, and they sent Mike Shanahan. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shanahan will definitely be there. But, I mean, I would think that Shanahan probably knows who he wants to get already, I would say. I mean, I don't think that a pro day would necessarily convince Shanahan, oh, this is not the guy or this is the guy. I have a feeling that Shanahan kind of already has an idea. Because for the Niners to trade into the top three, they had a feeling that Lawrence and Wilson will be gone. So they already knew that, okay, if we trade into the top three, we're going to have our option of, Mac Jones and Trey Lance or Justin Fields. So I think Shanahan already has an idea of who he wants, who's at the top of his board. And supposedly he hasn't even told the people around him who is his number one target. So can't wait for the draft. I definitely most likely will be live streaming the day of the draft, maybe like a few hours before the draft, talking about the latest, news from the draft from a 49ers perspective. And most likely I will be live streaming during the draft. and getting live reactions from when the Niners select their picks. It would be interesting if the Niners do trade up back into the first round to pick a player, because they have done that with the last, I think 2 out of the last 3 years we traded back into the first round. So someone mentioned maybe trading back in the first round to get Najee Harris. That would be interesting. But we'll see what happens. It's like Niners All Day says, and some other scouts. Yeah, I mean, just because Lynch or Shanahan don't go to a pro day, the 49ers are still sending scouts out, and, the 49ers still have tape from, all the quarterbacks and all the other position players, because during the season, when Shanahan can't necessarily scout college players, they still have scouts. Every franchise does. They still have scouts. They go to different games each week. And they scout players, all players, quarterbacks, receivers, defensive ends, whatever their position of need is, that's who they scout. So they've scouted a lot of college players during the season. And so the head coach and the GM don't necessarily always have to be at the pro days, because sometimes the pro days are held on the same day. So it's like Sports Star says, yeah, okay. Yeah. So, both pro days for Lance and Fields will be next week. And, I'm intrigued by those. I have a feeling that Shanahan already knows who his number one target is. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. So, but Lynch and Parag Marate have done an excellent job this offseason. We had a lot of free agents, and, I'm looking forward to the rest of free agency, to who else we bring in. Ronald Blair, not sure if he'll be re-signed, but we'll see what comes to fruition with Ronald Blair. Also, of course, the draft. I think we are like 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away. So I just can't wait. And I appreciate everyone for coming on the stream today. Let me know if you have any other questions. Let me know. But I just wanted to talk about, the free agency, because that was a big deal with the Niners this year, because we had so many free agents available and we didn't have a ton of cap space. And Parag Marate did an excellent job of maneuvering, contracts, so that way we could sign players like Alex Mack, Trent Williams, and, Verrett, Mosley, and K'Wan Williams. So, and, I think part of the reason we were able to sign those players is because of the pandemic. The salary cap for the NFL went down this year, and a lot of players, some players, like obviously Trent Williams was able to get the max contract, right? But most players only were able to get 1-year deals. So this actually worked in our favor. So, but yeah. Looks like Justin to the Bay won. Thanks for coming through to the stream. Looks like you want Justin Fields to come to the Bay. Yeah, I hope so, man. Looks like Niners All Day says, thanks for the show, Jay. I got to go. Have a good one. Appreciate you coming through, Niners All Day. You always here, always commenting on the stream, so I appreciate you for coming through. And, yeah. Thanks, everyone, for watching the stream. And make sure you subscribe to your boy, Jay in the Bay, on YouTube. Also check me out on IG and check me out on Twitter. Let me know if you have any other questions, concerns about the Niners draft, free agency, and I appreciate everyone for coming through. And I guess I will be signing out until next time. Looks like Justin to the Bay says 2 more for 5:30. Yes, sir. Not sure what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean. Elaborate on that. 2 more for 5:30. Yes, sir. I'm not sure what you mean. Let me know. And definitely we'll be streaming again. We'll see if Ronald Blair gets re-signed in the next, I don't know, later today or tomorrow. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, definitely we'll be doing another live stream in the next few days. And yeah, make sure you stay tuned to Jay in the Bay for all your latest 49ers news updates. And I appreciate everyone for coming through. Thanks for watching your boy, Jay in the Bay. See you guys in the next one.